Welcome to the Unblock Your Business podcast. I'm Abby Rogers, success coach, business coach, and hypnotherapist, and I help high achievers and business leaders to take control of their minds to achieve incredible success, smash those income goals, and above all, create a life of abundance, well-being, and happiness. Join me as we slay imposter syndrome, level up your mindset, and get you feeling like you can achieve anything you want in your life or business. Because, you really can when you get your mind in the right place. Let's dive in and look at how you can show up bigger, better, and more uniquely aligned in life and business today. Hello, and welcome back to Unblock Your Business. Happy birthday to me. Well, almost. It's my actual birthday in a couple of weeks, but today it's the 50th episode of the Unblock Your Business podcast, which means it's almost a year since I first started going. And I'm celebrating that because it feels like a massive milestone and probably the most consistent thing I've done in my business, other than showing up for my membership every day and losing far too much time to Facebook. I've recently deleted Facebook off my phone, by the way. So if you're wondering how that lovely on-off relationship and hit and miss love affair with social media is going, then that's happening. So I'm just at the moment checking in on my working days, and that feels great. But more on that another time. So almost a year ago, I decided to jump in there and take the plunge with launching this podcast. And I just want to talk to you about that for a moment before I crack on with the competition, because there could actually be a really valuable lesson in here for some of you. I think a little bit of sharing before we dive in there. And I think this will be really useful for you if you are somebody who's holding yourself back and not taking action on something you'd quite like to experiment with in your business. So before I launched it, obviously I looked into what I needed to do a little bit beforehand. And the main unknown for me was about how to host the podcast and how to make sure that it was distributed to the right channels, to make sure it got onto Apple, Google, YouTube, Spotify, blah, 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 all of those. I realised pretty quickly that wasn't actually that difficult, and I already knew how to record and edit. I had a microphone, and I did a massive kind of brain dump and just realised I had more than enough content ideas to last me a couple of years, so there were no problems there. Content-wise, by the way, if you're ever feeling creatively challenged, then do check out my episode on how to make sure you always have incredible content ideas. That will be really, really helpful to you. Now, I also knew then how I was going to market and promote the podcast, and I knew I would develop that strategy further over time. So to me, I was pretty much ready to go, raring to go, and excited to dive in and get the podcast out there. However, I happened to mention this in an online group chat where somebody had asked a question about where people were at with their podcast. And I think I replied something like, I'm just really excited. I'm just getting ready to launch it. And they asked when. And I said, in a couple of weeks' time. And instead of saying, great, well done, that's awesome, they sort of said, oh really? It's not that easy. Maybe you should take some time to think about this for a few months instead. It can take quite a long time to get ready to launch. Maybe you should aim for a deadline that was like 3 months away instead. And I'd also heard a lot of stories just online in general about it taking a long time, taking a lot of time out of your week to put together a podcast and being a massive commitment, etc., which could really have put me off. Fortunately, on this occasion, I decided to employ my stubbornness and not listen to the negative stories and the reasons to not go ahead. I just felt ready, and I just felt like I'm going to give this a go and see what happened. And I felt pretty sure that I could make this happen without it being a huge chore and without doing loads and loads of extra prep work. Now, I'm sure for some people it is a huge chore. And that's why a lot of people launch and never ever make it past episode 7. And I'm sure I could have done more in terms of maybe dotting every I and crossing every T in the launch plan and marketing it really well. But I honestly think if I'd listened to those people and decided it had to be hard and a massive time commitment, then I'd be sitting there now without a podcast launched and without being able to show up and share my thoughts with you every single week. So it brings it back to that thing I'm always banging on about, which is to trust yourself, to listen to yourself. Do your own research, listen to both positive and negative points of view, try and hear both sides of every story, and then choose what feels right for you. And if you want to try something, just do it anyway. Don't let other people's baggage or struggles stop you from doing something that you feel excited and passionate about. Because other people aren't you, and their path isn't yours, and they don't know what's right for you. And don't be afraid to just take imperfect action, get something out into the world, and then worry about refining it later. That's such an important thing to get your head around, I think, in business. So yes, I'm sure I could have had a bigger launch, I could have had much more fanfare, but rather than sitting there and planning that big launch still and never getting there, I've now got 50 quality episodes under my belt that I can share and very frequently do to help people with the struggles that they're facing in their life and their business right now. And that feels so great to know I've got that content sitting there and I can just fire it out and help people in the world each and every day. And I'm not just sat there stuck in maybe I'll do it one day. That feels really good. And I'm a firm believer that most things in life are as difficult as you choose to make them. So I'd love you to carry that message with you today and just think about any areas of life where you might choose to start seeing possibilities and ease and potential positives instead of obstacles and struggles. So, for example, with the podcast, yes, it may take some time every week. It might take a couple of hours to record and put together and edit each episode. But then that means I've got wonderful content there that's never going to go off. It's always there. It's always usable and ready for when people have a query or a problem in life and they just need some quick advice on it. I can just go, do you know what? I've got an episode that covers exactly that. Here you go, here's the link, and I can help them instantly. And that's so good. So I would like to bet that the people who were sitting there saying, oh yeah, it takes so much time every week, weren't even thinking about that long-term benefit and how it might help them and other people going forward. They were just thinking, this is a problem for me. So try and get your head out of that if you can and start to see solutions instead of problems. As always, if that's helped you, just feel free to get in touch and let me know where that has touched you or how that's changed things for you. And now the exciting bit, competition time. So I've decided to do something a little bit special to celebrate my 1-year anniversary, which is coming up at the end of May. So I'm holding a little competition for you, lovely listeners of Unblock Your Business, to win a half-day Ignite Your Vision coaching session with me, which is worth £500. And I'll be announcing the winner on episode 53, which is going to air on the 30th of May 2022. Now, if you win this session, we will spend half a day together diving deep into your business and your current strategic and mindset struggles, getting our heads together and helping you come up with a game plan to quite literally unblock your business and your mind going forward, and to get you taking aligned and effective action that is going to make such a difference in your business. You will also receive my library of 5 glorious guided meditations, which is worth £25, and my ebook of 135 journaling prompts of the same value. So what do you have to do to win? All you have to do is to share a post about why you love this podcast on either Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram. choose your weapon. And whoever gets the most likes and comments on their post will win. Now, in order to tick all the boxes, you must mention the podcast by name, Unblock Your Business. You need to use the hashtag Unblock Your Business. There's a theme here. And you also need to share a link where other people can come and check it out and subscribe. You then need to send me a link to your post by 5 p.m. That's UK time, GMT +1 at the moment, 5 p.m. on the 24th of May, so that I can verify the number of likes and comments on your post and decide who is the winner. And if you do want to post on multiple platforms, that's absolutely fine. So it's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, any of those three. And it's the total number of likes that will count towards your total. So the more platforms you get it out there on, the more likes you get, the better. And I'll be looking at who's got the most likes and comments and announcing the winner in episode 53, as I say, on the 30th of May. So I think that's it. Hopefully I've covered all bases there. But if you have any questions, please drop me an email. The email address is in the show notes, which you will find at www.unblockyourbusiness.com/podcast. And if you want to just recap everything I've just said to make sure that you do it correctly, also head to that website address and you'll be able to read the blog post associated with today's podcast, and all the rules are on there. So that web address again was www.unblockyourbusiness.com/podcast. Click on today's episode and you'll see the whole blog post with all the rules there. So I'm really excited to see your posts, really excited to spread the word about this podcast and get it out there some more for a lovely birthday celebration. And yeah, I can't wait to see what you've got to say. Take care, and I will see you next week. Bye. Thanks for listening. I really hope you've enjoyed today's episode. If you have, it would be incredible if you could pop a review on iTunes, Google, or your favourite podcast platform. Don't forget to subscribe for more incredible mindset and strategic updates every single week. And I would love you to head over to www.unblockyourbusiness.com, where you can pick up free resources for imposter syndrome, money mindset, and so much more, and join my incredible email community, the A-List. See you there.